I'm here today to discuss shoulder stability, just ways to make a stronger shoulder a little bit more grounded and to take away any tendency that you might have to internally rotate or drop one shoulder or both. And those types of things can occur based on a trauma or just a pattern because we do very different things with each arm. So there's plenty of ways to correct that or just bring a lot of awareness to it. And I'll briefly mention that it's more ideal to have your mobility first. So make that a priority and get to a place where neck, shoulders, chest are as flexible as you would like them to be, ideally, and then start to add in your strength. So that's a big point in my case. I'll show you a few things to do with the wall. The wall is basically just a marker for you to get some feedback to feel what's happening in your muscles. So you can do this at work. No real guidelines. You can do it isolated from a workout, that type of thing. You can do it whenever you have the time, or you can also do it in between sets. It'd be a lovely thing to stop and get a bit stronger. So leaning against a wall, the first thing is basic protraction and retraction. So if you bring your arms to chest, shoulder height, and then resist letting them go wider than your shoulder distance, there's a very basic strength between your elbows. So feel like the elbows squeeze together, and then very simply take your hands towards or away from your body. Your shoulders will come directly off the wall. I've moved a little bit forward. And then if you're cueing your breath, an exhale takes them back. So here I find the upper bones, the humerus of my arm goes into the ball and socket joint, so the front of my shoulder blade. Grounded here, this is what you want, but you give it some contrast. This is what you feel when your arms are forward, and then you suction them back. So you can do lots of those, just pulsing in and out. Also allows your collarbones to widen. You feel like you're condensed when you're forward, but then you're open when you're back. So retraction is really important, it keeps you open. Then once you figure that one out, once that feels nice and warm, keep the back range of motion, so keep the shoulders grounded into your body. And then really simply bring your arms out to a T. When this happens, you'll still feel the surfaces of your blades on the wall, but they'll gather together, quite obviously, especially the lower points of your blades. You'll feel them come together just instantly as soon as you do this. Then to make it a little bit more fiery, push into your nail beds, so don't allow your hands to slack. Let the whole line of your arm get involved, and just push into the wall. Won't look like much, but it's definitely making my shoulder blades think right now, and that's what you want. And then from here, I do really simply just glide the arms up. When your arms are at this heightened point, it's more of a Y shape. Lats kick in, more of your underarm muscles start to take responsibility for your shoulders. So you can stay here and find the same thing, tight elbows, your whole hand is pressed into the back of the wall. Then come back to this T shape. Very simply, I'll bend my elbows, so that'll involve some different musculature. I push my triceps into the wall. It's a little bit more about arm, less about shoulder once you get to this point. And you might feel that it's easier to relax your neck when your elbows are bent. And then from here, I'll show you what's called cactus. Again, think about, it's tricky, your fingers going into the wall. Often my wrists are trying to avoid the wall. That's a bit of an inflexibility in my forearms. So see what you can do to make that happen. That should feel really warm. Hands and forearms pressed back. If you really want to heat it up, bring your rib cage down. So that these last few that I showed you were static, so the T shape, more of the Y, and then here's the cactus. And there's something that I like to do called a floss. So I give my fingers into the room, lots of tricep, lots of rhomboid in this one. And then I take them back up to where they were. So it's a mobility and stability combo when you do this. Really nice, really warm. Give it a shot. Rib cage down to make it more challenging. So those are the few that I would detail at the wall. Try that out, it's a lot harder than it looks. Give it a whirl. Hope that it helps you. you. Just think grounded shoulders, wide collarbones. And then I will show you what you can do off the wall with a block or a plate. Blocks are a really good thing to have at home. Okay. Exactly like my first motion, but without the wall, so your own awareness. Elbows squeeze in, and I take my shoulders out of my body, and I pull them back in. Subtle movement, maybe you see it better from the side here. Shoulders come out of my body, take them back in. Find a few of those. Elbows tight. And then again, much like before, get into that retracted state where your shoulders are in your body. And now simply bend the elbows. Block will come up sort of towards the forehead. This position is really awesome for starting to muscle up your armpits. So your shoulders are in your body, but now you can activate your rib cage. So you may feel your serratus anterior and your subscap, which are just wonderful everything for your shoulder. They're synergists, they help stabilize, do lots of things that you don't realize they do. And then you want to keep the elbows bent, keep your shoulders in your body. Simply bring the elbows down. So this kind of reminds me of skiing. When you're here, that's some posterior delt. So that's a nice place to get some strength. And then you rise it back up, sort of towards forehead. You could go above and beyond. Don't let the elbows part. And that's your new range of motion. That's super strong. Posterior delt. And then you come back up. Hint of mobility in these ones as well. And the next time you come all the way up, this will look familiar. You let your triceps face away from your body. You can bring the block down if you've got the movement for that. And then again, don't let the elbows part, so they stay at this distance. And it's just your tricep extension. Lift up, come back down. Keep going like that. So the block is helping me keep my distance. Give that a try. And then that last one in particular, I'll show without the block, because it's one of my favorite shoulder strengtheners. We spend a lot of our time internally rotated and forward. So one of the most beneficial things we can ever do for ourselves is externally rotate our arms, lift them up, or even better, lift them back. So a lot of that is headstand. A lot of the lifts that people do, your shoulders are up and they're back. So it's really awesome to drain your lymph back into your armpits and just do something that you're not familiar with. It's lovely. So what I like to do is exaggerate kind of ugly shoulders, so let them drop in. So when your elbows are out, your shoulders have dropped in, not good. And then do exactly the opposite. A big wing sweep, bring your elbows forward. When your elbows are in, your shoulders are open and out. From here, I touch my thumbs onto my tops of my shoulders. You'll feel your traps. And then if you want to get it really warm, move your elbows up. So think about this fabric from underarm to elbow getting really long and strong. So that in itself is pretty difficult. Don't allow this. Ribs down. You can take your elbows up higher, ribs down. And then sort of section it like that, elbows up, ribs down. And that's about all that I have. That's a pretty good practice. My elbows are probably getting away from me, so really swing them in. And then very much like what I did with the block, but it'll be a lot harder without it. Slide your arms up. Again, there's an element of not allowing, so I don't allow my elbows to go out. Come back down. Thumbs hit the body, resist, chest up, bring the ribs down. Then come up and down like that. That should be pretty spicy. So those are all great things you can do for your shoulders. Try that out. Thanks.